Welcome back to Agent Academy. This is Mission 5, Understanding Agent Models and Response Formatting. My name is Elaiza Benitez, and I'm a cloud advocate at Microsoft. In this mission, we're going to learn about model selection and the model versions, including how to continue using retired models. You'll also learn about available admin controls and how response formatting defines your agent answers. We'll then finish with a demo of the mission. Let's dive in. Let's take a closer look at the foundation of every agent, the model. The agent model is the underlying generative AI engine that powers your agent responses. It's essentially the brain behind your agent. Different models have different strengths. Some respond faster, others produce more detailed answers, while some excel at complex reasoning tasks. You can switch models through your Agent's Overview tab, allowing you to experiment and find the best fit for your specific use case. New agents start with the default model, which is currently GPT 4.1, and it provides a balanced choice for most scenarios. Once you understand what the model does, the next logical question is what happens when model versions change? Microsoft regularly upgrades available models to newer versions, and your agents are automatically moved to the latest version when updates occur. But you still get a 30-day grace period to keep using a retired model. So, why would you keep using a retired model? Maybe you need stability, maybe you need compliance sign off, or maybe time to adjust downstream systems. Copilot Studio gives you that flexibility through the continue using retired model setting. This ensures smooth transitions without disrupting your users. Now, model availability isn't up to you as a builder or a maker. It's also shaped by your organization's admin settings. Tenant administrators control which AI models are available through organization level settings, ensuring governance over data security and compliance. Key admin controls include allowing Anthropic external models, you can enable preview and experimental models, and permitting data movement across regions. These admin controls are managed through the Microsoft 365 Admin Center and Power Platform Admin Center. Understanding these controls help you know when to contact your admin if you need access to specific model capabilities. Now, if you're a developer in a highly regulated industry environment, you may need to stick to general availability models unless you get clearance to use OpenAI preview models or external preview models such as Anthropic. Now that we've covered how models are selected and governed, let's shift gears. We're going to move from how your agent thinks to how your agent communicates through response formatting. This is simply how your agent's answers show up for users. Good formatting makes responses cleaner, easier to scan, and more helpful for users. Copilot Studio supports Markdown, which means your agent can use bold for emphasis, italics for subtle highlights, hyperlinks for extra information, and power effects formulas when you want data to be dynamic. For example, showing today's date in a specific format. One tip, always test your formatting in the testing pane. Try out sample user questions. See if the agent's answer is coming through with the formatting you expect. If something is not right, such as the response shows markdown syntax in text instead of formatting it, you may need to adjust the instructions. And also test your formatting instructions across models. Now that you've seen the formatting options your agent can use, let's break down some best practices to help you apply formatting effectively and consistently across responses. First of all, consistency matters. When your agent responds in a familiar format every time, Users quickly understand its structure and know what to expect. Use emphasis thoughtfully. Use bold for the most important details, and use lists to break down complex information clearly, such as numbered lists or steps or bullet points for grouped ideas. Now, you can also pair good formatting with PowerFX expressions to keep things consistent, such as enforcing currency or date formats. And always think from the user's point of view. Formatting should make the answer easier to read. Your users should be able to glance at your agent's response and instantly understand what matters. Now let's put this into action with our mission. For this mission, we're going to add response formatting to the interview agent, and we'll test the response formatting against several of the OpenAI models and one of the Anthropic models. Let's begin. First, head over to your interview agent settings. Scroll down until you find the response formatting section. Now we're going to give our agent some clear formatting instructions. Copy and paste the following response formatting instructions from the lab exercise. We're using Markdown to highlight two headings followed by instructions. The first heading covers the date formatting rule, where it must follow the format specified. The second heading covers the resume information formatting rule on how the agent should start with the resume number as a bold header and list details as bullet points instead of paragraphs. All dates in the summarized resume information must use the same format. We're next going to add a PowerFX formula to show the agent exactly what that date format looks like. Click right after the first example, then select the PowerFX icon. Copy and paste the formula from the lab exercise. This formula takes a datetime value and formats it as Jan 06, 2026. The format pattern is the key. Triple uppercase M gives us the three-letter month abbreviation, while double lowercase d gives us the two-digit day, and the quadruple lowercase y gives us the four-digit year. Select Insert to add the formula, and the formula are now embedded in the instructions. The agent will now see a concrete example of the date format you expect. Now repeat those same steps for the second example. Copy and paste the formula from the lab exercise, select Insert, and then we'll save the settings. Now for the fun part. We're going to put three different AI models head to head and see how they respond to the exact same questions. Let's start with GPT 4.1, the default model. Start a new test session in the interview agent. We're going to ask it to summarize a resume. Copy and paste the first question from the lab exercise and replace the resume number with your own. Watch the response come through. First, let's check the formatting. There's a header with the resume number in bold, and the details are organized in bullet points. This is great as the model is following our response formatting instructions for resume information. Now let's verify accuracy. Open the corresponding resume PDF file. Compare the work history, the key skills, education, and certifications listed by the agent with what's actually in the resume. It looks like they match. The model is able to pull accurate information from the Dataverse knowledge sources we set up in Mission 3. Next, test the date formatting rule by copying and pasting the second question from the lab exercise. The model didn't quite format the date as per our formatting instructions. This is a common challenge with formatting instructions. Some models adhere more strictly than others. Now let's ask a more complex question. We'll request interview questions based on a job role's evaluation criteria. Copy and paste the third question from the lab exercise. Observe the response structure. The model returned a list of interview questions organized by evaluation criteria, including its percentage weight as defined in the Dataverse job role. Each question has a model answer section with answers written in first person as if the candidate is speaking. This is useful because it shows what a strong candidate response sounds like. Now let's switch models and see how things change. In the Overview tab, select the OpenAI GPT-5 chat model. A confirmation message will appear to let you know the agent model has been updated. Next, start a new test session. Ask the exact same first question about summarizing the resume. Compare the response to the previous model's output. You'll likely notice the information is the same with a subtle difference, more detailed in some areas and more concise in others. However, we can see the date reference does not follow our date formatting instructions. Test the date formatting again by copying and pasting the second question from the lab exercise. In this response, we can see the date format was followed this time round. Now, I would test several more times with different question variations to verify that the date format is followed by the model and make adjustments if needed to the instructions. Now, copy and paste the third question about interview questions. Notice the difference in output. GPT-5 chat organizes the response still with similar headings to the previous model, but applies some bold formatting which helps the user see the information more quickly at a glance. We can still easily read the criteria, questions, and answers. There also seems to be more depth in the answers, where there's more explanation to the answers. GPT-5 chat might also offer suggestions at the end, like, would you like me to create a structured interview guide with these questions? That's the enhanced conversational ability at work of the OpenAI GPT-5 models. Now for the external model. Before you proceed, make sure your environment has settings enabled to allow preview and experimental models and allow external models in the Power Platform Admin Center and in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. If you don't have admin rights and you can't enable these settings, you can skip this exercise, but it's worth trying if possible. In the Overview tab, select Claude Sonnet 4.5 Experimental from the Anthropic section. Start a new test session. Ask the same first question. Something interesting happens with Claude Sonnet 4.5. You can actually see its thought process. As it generates the response, you'll see text like, the user is asking for a summary of a resume and I need to search for information. Or, I received information on the resume, let me summarize the key information provided. This is the model's reasoning being exposed in real time. It's a unique feature of the Claude models. Look at the response. Claude Sonnet 4.5 tends to be more concise than the OpenAI models. It gets to the point quickly without sacrificing accuracy. Let's verify the date formatting by asking the second question. The date will appear in the precise format we set earlier. Finally, ask the interview question. Observe the structure. Claude Sonnet 4.5 will organize the response similarly to GPT-5 chat using criteria, question, and answer headings. It provides sample candidate responses, which includes describing practical skills and scenario-based answers. So it combines the structural clarity of GPT-5 with the practical examples of GPT 4.1. In summary, test multiple models to find the best fit for your specific scenario. Mission accomplished. You learned how to add response formatting to the interview agent. You also learned how different models impact your agent's outputs by testing the same questions each time. That's it for this mission. Keep experimenting, keep building, and as always, keep learning. We'll see you in the next mission of Agent Academy.